All right, everybody, welcome back to the American LFC show. I am absolutely irate. Um, Liverpool lose on literally at the buzzer, last kick of the game, 3-2, with not being able to deal with a long throw. Coach,
Well,
this one stings, man.
I guess Liverpool's underwhelming unbeaten run came to an end, and even if they hadn't have conceded, I guess a lot of the things that we would be questioning today and others will be questioning would be asked anyway. So I guess it does sting from the point of view that a draw became a loss. So yeah, I think it's a time of recurring themes, things that keep happening over and over again. If it happens once, okay, but it keeps happening too many times, and so there are issues. And I'm afraid Arne Slot, a lot of questions will be asked of him again today after today's performance and result.
Yeah, going down 2-0, having full control of from a possession standpoint, and two, well taken goals, but also mistakes from our captain. And these, we get punished for mistakes, it seems like, more than we've ever been before. And it's we come back, though, resilient, come back to 2-2. Szoboszlai's goal was really nice. I thought Wirtz played, pretty well for the most part. And then just long, the long throw is so, it's back. It puts the ball in dangerous situations, and not being able to deal with it. It just feels like every time something's coming, long throw or corner is just, very tense moments.
Yes, the only thing that I'd be critical of during the injury time was there were two throws in quick succession, and then the amount of time that it ate up. I really feel that the referee should be adding on time. Actually, I mean, I suppose that's only one small gripe, but the point is that Liverpool are weak in these situations because it's not the first time this has happened. And from my own experience, I know that they fired the coach who was responsible for set pieces and what have you. But especially from a defensive point of view, I mean, over my coaching career at a different level, sometimes there's just something in the chemistry of a group, even if you organize them, that they're still vulnerable. And I think that that's the issue with this current team, that Liverpool has. There's a vulnerability, and it keeps happening over and over again. So expect from now to the end of the season, it's going to be a recurring theme. Long throws, corner kicks. Teams will be looking to take advantage of this.
Coach, is Arne Slot on the hot seat? Because there's a lot of people in my life that are Liverpool fans. Just the style of play is too slow. The urgency. There's a lot of people kind of calling for his head, and this game won't help any of that.
Yeah. As I said earlier, there's going to be some recurring themes. I actually thought Liverpool looked quite good up until Bournemouth scored, and once they scored, they seemed to struggle, and maybe it was partially because they were down to 10 men. But I think that the questions that will be asked of Arne Slot is, first of all, why didn't Ekitike start? I think that that'll be a question that will be asked. Why did it take so long to bring on the substitute? Now, it could be that the ball was out of play for a long time, but I heard the commentator say that it was 7 minutes between Gomez going off and the substitution. So why would it take 7 minutes? Maybe they were evaluating the injury. Maybe the ball was out of play for a significant period of time. But, how long is the ball out, even at a higher level of play? I mean, 7 minutes seems like an awful long time to me. So that's one big question that will be asked. Now, when they got back into the game in the second half, we kind of fell into a long phase where it was similar to what we've seen this season, with lots of Liverpool possession, but very slow, ponderous. Bournemouth normally plays an out-and-out attacking game, but they've been on a bad run recently, and Liverpool conceded 2 goals to them in the first half, both of them coming from the left-hand side of the field. Virgil van Dijk was clearly at fault with the first goal because it was an easy chance in the end for Evan Nielsen.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second goal, we've talked about in the past about how Kerkez and Gakpo don't seem to have a connection going forward. And even though Kerkez has improved of late, I think earlier in the season, I wondered about his connection with Virgil van Dijk at the back, and that was exploited for the second goal for sure. And so I just wonder, Kerkez is still a young player, but I get a little bit of a feeling that, if you were to sit the players down and say, who would you like at left full back, they would probably say Andy Robertson. And so it's difficult. It's very difficult for the new boy coming in if he's replacing somebody that is so popular within the team and then the fan base, because you had the fans calling his name when he was brought on. And I just feel there's something missing. And then also as well, when McAllister was taken off, you could see he wasn't happy. Now, not being happy at being substituted is not unusual, but the sense I get is it's happened too many times now. And so I just think there are 1 or 2 players in the dressing room right now that maybe aren't as happy as they've been in the past. And one thing that was interesting as well is Bournemouth, because they were 2 goals up, had something to defend, so maybe they didn't play their normal game. But yes, ironically, when Liverpool equalised, they seemed to get second wind.
Right.
And I'm not sure that Liverpool did so much. So there's lots of chemistry type issues. And of course, it's all going to lead back to the manager ultimately. And I don't know if you're like me, but I'll be going onto the internet later tonight just to get a sense of what the fan base thinks. But yeah, there's going to be lots of questions of Arne Slot. I think we both know that.
Coach, there was reports earlier this week that Robertson would be moving to Tottenham, potentially this window, if not this window, in the summer. And what a bad timing for that too. And Coach, realistically is we're fans of this club, and this team is really hard to watch. It's a tough watch. I watch every game, but it's been just really difficult, and I'm kind of just looking for some sort of positives to pull out of all this. And realistically, there's not that much to pull from. And I understand what you're saying, how you could have like a group of players and they just, you set them up right, you tell them what to do, and they're vulnerable. At some point, where does this fall? Does this fall on the coach? He's like, Xabi Alonso's out there. Like, do we make a move now? It feels like almost reactive, but it's been now like for quite a stretch here.
Well, I think that the issue that the club faces is, can they miss out on Champions League football next year? And we've touched on this briefly in some of the previous podcasts. So I think that would have significance for the club because of the financials. They've spent a lot of money. And they were the defending champions. And I think that a lot of people, both within and without the club, are thinking, okay, Liverpool had a very good team that won the championship comfortably last year. A lot of people are saying, well, the squad's better now. so like you may as well give them the title and all this kind of silly talk that we
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
And obviously it was quite naive. It was quite naive because you're talking about a lot of changes. So that would be a normal situation. And then you've got the effect of the Diogo Jota on top of that.
Yeah.
And as I've said several times, during this broadcast, there's recurring themes, and a lot of them do come back to Arne Slot, whether he likes it or not. So I'm sure he'll talk about, well, Liverpool created a lot of chances. Maybe they did, but they just don't feel dangerous as they have done in former years.
Yeah.
And so there'll be a lot of analysis starting Mo Salah. I would have, personally, I'd have think that it would have been good to bring Mo Salah in off the bench. I mean, he has to measure this whole thing with Mo Salah, whether he's really part of the team or he's not part of the team.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, early on, they were playing the 4-4-2 again. Obviously, the way that they've set up the four is pretty much a box, as many have pointed out. And what it is good for is that it does create space in the wide area, not only for the fullback to get forward, but also for the diagonal run of strikers, which actually makes me think that when Isak's back, that might be an interesting formation, playing Isak and Ekitike up front.
Yeah.
Because it might play to their strengths. But anyway, so they were doing that quite effectively. Then they fell a goal behind, and then Liverpool did seem to lose their way for the rest of the half, even though they did get that goal just before half time. So yeah, and as I said earlier, the second half they fell back into the same old with all that possession football, very, very slow, ponderous. It's not really going anywhere. Personally, I disagree with you a little bit about Florian Wirtz. I thought his passing was very sloppy today, and so he didn't have as greater effect as he's had in some of the recent games. And I think there was one situation towards the end when he actually set himself up to shoot, and for some reason he didn't.
Yeah, yeah, You might be right there. I'm just kind of. Yeah, I'm grasping for straws, Coach.
Yeah.
Grasping for straws.
So, yeah, I mean, same old. Arne Slot, I'm sure we'll talk about chances created, chances not taken. And, so Liverpool have to bounce back because they have this Champions League game against Qarabağ, who I think are from Kazakhstan. I'm not sure about that. I think they are.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a game that they'll be expected to win. So what is he going to do in terms of his setup? I don't know anything about Qarabağ. I mean, but they are high up in the table, I believe, and they've surprised a lot of teams. So I guess that they're another one of those Bodo Glimt kind of teams who on their day are capable of getting results. Liverpool are in a good situation, but obviously a win kind of seals the fact that they're top 8, which I'm sure is what the manager and the club will want. And it gives a little time, a little breathing space then for the league games that come up. They can focus more on that, because I think right now it's a very reasonable question to ask. Are Liverpool going to qualify for Champions League this year? That's what the fans will be asking. And I have to believe that that's what they'll be asking behind the scenes, the ownership, Michael Edwards and company. So I think that that's the question that they'll be asking at this point. So it's an important game Wednesday. And I think Arne Slot has some decisions to make. I think, again, the Andy Robertson thing is something that's going to be on the forefront of his mind, because why did he make the change at half time today. I mean, really, you could say that Virgil van Dijk was culpable for both goals. He was certainly for the first one, and then it was a little bit of a shared responsibility for the second goal. But he's not going to take off his captain. He's not going to take off his captain.
Well, we don't have center backs to replace him anyway.
Right. True. So I'm assuming that Konate will come back, but at left back, he has this conundrum about the Kerkez thing. I mean, Kerkez is the future. The question is the future now, or is it something that he has to work on really for next season and beyond? So my gut feeling is the players might want Robertson to come back. I think the majority of fans would as well. And then Konate, I don't know what Gomez's injury was. It was a collision, so it was some kind of a knock. But I guess it's Frimpong by default at right full back, and then I mean, pretty much. I mean, I wouldn't start Mo Salah. I wouldn't start Mo Salah personally. Yeah. And my gut feeling is the handling of Mo Salah from a manager's point of view is key right now. And if you keep playing him, and I mean, like, he could have taken him off today. It's not necessarily that he was playing bad, but he wasn't doing much.
Yeah.
So would it have been better to leave Frimpong on? Because in recent games, Frimpong has been dangerous.
Yeah.
And he gets him behind defenses. So yeah, I think there's big decisions for Arne Slot for Wednesday's game, and it's an important game psychologically, making the top 8 Champions League, avoiding the playoff round, and then beyond that, allowing more time to focus on league games. Liverpool have had a run of games which was supposedly favourable for them, but they've ended up drawing a lot of them, and now finally they lose one. So
and it's turning now, and now Newcastle, City, Sunderland, Brighton, and then it kind of eases up a little bit. But
yeah. So the pressure is roundly back on the shoulders of the manager, and we wait for Wednesday to see what he does and how the team rebounds from another last-second loss.
Coach, when you kind of look at Alonso as a potential replacement, whether it's now, down the road, would his style of play and kind of what he did with Leverkusen be a good hire, considering we have 2 of their better players on this team that played for Leverkusen?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't know enough about Alonso as a coach, but I know that he tries to coach, and that was his downfall at Real Madrid, because that's a team that you don't coach. You've just got to manage them and the superstar egos, and so basically you're organizing them.
Right.
So I guess in theory, he's a coach and he has good players here, and for anyone, whether it's Arne Slot, Alonso, or anybody else, it's a question of can they coach them, because the recent history of Liverpool is that they had a coach before in Jurgen Klopp, and so I suppose Alonso, it might be helpful for a Florian Wirtz, certainly, as to how he integrates him. But didn't Alonso play with a back 3?
He did, and then wing backs, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think any manager that's coming in, you're not going to convert Liverpool into a 3-5-2 overnight. So so you'd have to, over time. And we see this at Manchester United, where you had a manager that was just steadfast in, okay, we're going to play with wing backs, we're going to play 3 at the back, and he didn't have the personnel. And in the end, they concede too many results, and he loses his job. So I think the Alonso question is that he's available. He's a former Liverpool player. He's highly regarded as a coach. He's had some success as a coach. So to your typical fan, they are going to want somebody like that back in if they feel that Arnestock's not doing the job. So there's pressure from that perspective. I only think they'll make a change if Liverpool does get into a situation where they might not be looking like qualifying for the Champions League. I think otherwise they will certainly keep a hold of him until the end of the season. And then as long as Liverpool's in the Champions League, then they will review the situation and then they will make a choice one way or another.
Yeah, we're currently still sitting in fourth, but
yeah,
I mean we are hanging on.
Yeah, I mean, I believe even Brentford could go ahead of us tomorrow. So there's Chelsea, Manchester United, and Brentford. There are those three teams floating around. So who knows? Who knows what could happen? But I think it's far from a given that Liverpool will make the Champions League this year, and that's what will be of concern to the higher ups at Anfield.
All right, Coach. Well, let's get on with our day and kind of try to forget about this one. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. Heartbreaker today, and we hope to see a better result on Wednesday. Yeah, it is Wednesday, right, Coach?
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, so. Wednesday, and then Newcastle over the weekend, followed up by City. So 3 pretty important games, and let's see if what we can do, and let's see if Slot can kind of pull a rabbit out of his hat, get this team turned around. I have a feeling that the next week or so there's going to be some transfer activity in January, probably not for Liverpool, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. And we will talk to you next time.
Bye now.